Welcome, everybody, to David Green is Obsessed, another episode. And I'm going to start out with a confession today. I wish that I were obsessed with hats. It is a style statement that I have always craved. It's been aspirational. I hate worrying about my hair. I feel cool in hats. But years ago, I was trying on hats with my wife, and she laughed. And I asked why she was laughing, and she wouldn't tell me. And then she finally delicately said, "You look kind of like a nerd." And I was like, "Okay, like, is that bad?" She's like, No, it's not bad. It's fine, honey. Like, you just look a little nerdy. And like just the shape of your nose and the shape of your face when you wear a hat, it just changes and you look a little nerdy.
I disagree.
I appreciate that.
Yeah.
I appreciate that. But she said that, and I would try fedoras. I would try cowboy hats with her. I would try like trucker hats, and she would always give me this look that it was like a look of, I'm definitely not going to have sex with you if you continue trying to wear headgear.
I feel like this is telling me more about your wife than it is about you.
I appreciate that. So it's really sad. So I've always wanted to love hats, but have never felt like I could be free to wear hats, which is why I'm so excited to be sitting in this studio in New York with comedian, author, actor Veer Das, who does love hats, and we're going to talk about hats quite a bit in just a minute. All right, we're back with David Green is Obsessed. Veer Das, comic, author of a new book,
Yes,
The
sir.
Outsider, a new memoir. Congratulations.
Thank you, sir.
It's great. Can't wait to talk about it. Want to start with hats, though.
Done.
You said that this says more about my wife than me, the fact that she thinks I look like a nerd in hats. Please make me feel better.
Okay, so I think you would do well with what's called a pork pie hat.
Pork pie?
Yeah.
Okay.
So
Like
it's,
pork the food.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it's like a shorter brim, and it goes up on your forehead instead of covering.
Oh, this
So
is nice.
So a lot of guys who do the hats, especially in America, kind of do like everybody tries to look like Johnny Depp from that mafia movie.
Yeah.
Do you know the one I'm talking about?
Yeah.
I forget what it's
what's it-
called. but-
Yeah. No, it's that look. It's that iconic Johnny Depp
Yeah,
look.
the Christian Bale, Johnny
Yeah,
Depp. Not a very
yeah.
good movie, but
But a good hat.
But a good hat. But if you do it up, then
Wait, like it slants upward or
yeah,
what?
like a little bit of hair,
Okay.
and then the hat just about here. And then
feel like she's
you're
not gonna go
in-
for it,
You're
but-
you're in jazz territory. You're in comedian territory. You're in I'm a poet territory.
Oh, I like that.
I'm in the village in 1962.
Your endorsement might be everything I need. She definitely needs
Unless
to
your
accept-
wife thinks that all those three guys are nerds, in which case then I can't.
No, she thinks Johnny Depp is sexy. So I mean, this could be going in the right direction.
There you go.
The pork pie hat.
Yeah.
Wish it had a different name. That's
It's from do you remember country fairs in America?
Yeah.
And the guys would wear those straw hats.
Of course.
Right? And they were kind of just like really cylindrical.
Yeah.
And they had a thing flapping off the top.
Yeah.
Right? So those now became kind of cooler, hipper hats.
And
that
that's
you
the way
could-
to
That's the
okay.
way to do it.
Yeah, like county fairs. My
Yeah.
wife loves county fairs. All right, I'm gonna go for the county fair pork pie look. What is your favorite style of hat?
I like a really short brim, high up top, fedora, like a velvet fedora,
Mm-hmm.
but like a beatnik poet is the look that I go for.
You want to be a beatnik poet.
I
And the hat is
like
your
the look of
vessel to do that.
of the beatnik poets, and I kind of like the look of in England in like the 40s and the 50s.
Yeah.
There were bigger hats that gentlemen could afford, and then there were hats that the lower levels of society could afford, and those kind of were worn working man's hats, and those were kind of worn higher and not quite so fashionable, and I like those as well. So
do you have one favorite hat?
I have a favorite hat.
What is? Tell me about it.
It's a Bailey's Milo is the model.
That's the brand.
That's the brand,
okay.
and the model is called Milo, and it's kind of a brown, heavy feathering, goes with anything. The lovely thing about a hat is nobody cares about your fashion if you're wearing a hat.
Well, they care about the hat, right? I mean, isn't everyone focusing on the hat?
yeah,
but nothing else matters.
Nothing else matters. Nothing else matters. You can wear anything under a hat. Nothing under a hat. It
That's the
works.
beauty of it.
Yeah.
What is it about this Bailey's Milo that you love so much?
I just look like I don't give a shit when I wear it.
That's what we're going for, not
That's what
giving
we're
a
going
shit.
for in life.
Okay.
I mean, I do very deeply,
But you don't want to look like
but
you
I
do.
don't want to look like it.
You're not wearing a hat today, though.
I'm not wearing a hat
So
today
you don't
because
have the I don't give a shit look going
because
on.
I have a show to Lincoln Center, and you want to show them the Indian hair a little bit.
Does the hat mess up the hair? Like
The
if
hat
you
messes up the hair.
Okay, so once you put the hat on,
Yeah.
you're done for the day. Like
But
it has to stay on.
there's Matthew McConaughey once said, he's like, you can't look like you want it.
Yeah.
You,
Yeah.
you got to look like you're
You
just
don't give
kind
a
of
shit.
passing through, and if it shows up, it shows up.
Yeah.
That's the spirit you want.
Yeah.
And a hat can get you there pretty quickly,
Okay.
I think.
So how many hats do you have?
Close to 75 hats.
Oh, I thought you were going to say like 7,000 or something like that.
No,
75
I'm
feels like a
not wasteful.
reasonable.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
75 hats is, but again, hats. Like not a baseball cap, but like just proper hats. So I have like hat trees in my house, like where
Yeah.
like a hat stand, which just looks like a banyan
A hat
tree.
rack one, but you call them, I mean, they're like hats everywhere.
Yeah,
Like
there are hats everywhere.
Okay.
So yeah, in my study. Yeah.
Okay. And you have some custom made, all of them custom made?
I have a couple of them custom made. There's a guy called Gunnar Fox out of LA, actually. He used to be on Sunset Boulevard.
See, a haberdasher?
Haberdasher, yeah.
Is a haberdasher working a haberdashery?
Yes,
Is that,
I
okay.
think so. And
Okay.
he, that might be the most expensive hat I ever bought.
What are we talking?
Like $1,300, $1,400.
Okay.
Which is a lot for
It's a
a
lot
hat,
for a hat.
And he kind of presses it in front of you, like irons it and fits it to your head. And it was kind of vintagey, so it distressed as well, and it looked pretty cool.
How's that process work? You go into a haberdasher and you say, I'm going for a I don't give a shit look. This is the style I'm in the mood
And
for
then
today.
he's in a hat, so he doesn't give a shit either. And then you're just kind of passive aggressive with each other until somebody buys a hat.
Yeah.
No, usually enthusiastic, but he's kind of a leather craftsman, right? So it's one of those. It's pretty much Americana in a shop. Do you know what I mean? And you go in and
so.
he's like, "Let me measure your head," and then everything that he uses to measure your head is like 60 years old.
Yeah.
Nothing.
There's
is
probably
new.
more modern technology,
There's
but they don't.
definitely
Who
more
would want
modern
that in a
technology, but it's 60
haberdashery?
years old. And the press, like the iron that he uses, is one of those thick ass steam irons, but it looks like it has coal inside it. You know what I mean? And I'm pretty sure there's a new steamer that's
Yeah,
been invented since
probably.
1965, but
But
he
this
uses
guy,
that.
this guy needs to use this
This
one.
guy does that, and stitches, like put stitching into it live, and you'll go into a room where there's just feathers, and he'll pick out the right feather for it. It's like
It's a process.
it's a bespoke
It sounds that way.
experience.
And how long does it take then for your custom hat to be produced and ready?
I bought off the rack, so and then he had to fit it to my head, so that it was like an
It was
hour.
custom fitted. Okay,
was
this
custom
wasn't
fitted.
like a designed hat. that-
I'm pretty sure he can, but I was just passing through. I try and, as we spoke about earlier, I try and pass through LA very quickly.
Yeah.
And get back to New York as quickly as possible. So,
Yeah, you don't like LA.
I never know what anyone's thinking in LA.
I mean, I live there. I guess I don't show off what I'm thinking. Does that make me an Angelino? Like it?
I don't know.
We smile a lot. Like we
Every-
smile. Like isn't that showing? People are happy. Like the weather's great.
Sure, but every meeting I go to in LA, people are like, "Oh my god, I love that, love it, love it. I'm in love," and I'm like, "I'm never seeing this person again in my life."
That's true. I've had a lot of ideas die with smiles.
Yeah.
Like it's like, oh, you want this film or you want this podcast idea? Like that's great.
Say
And
what
then I
you will
never hear
about
from them.
Mumbai. When we hear an idea, we be like, "So very bad."
You're very
like,
honest.
just honest.
You're
you know
honest
what I
very
mean?
quickly.
So yeah,
So what does the hat obsession say about you?
I grew up on Chaplin and World War II movies,
Huh?
and so I think
That's where you
it
saw the
comes-
look for the first
yeah.
time.
Do you ever feel like you have an inkling of when your past life was, if you believe in past lives?
Yeah. I think I was like from an era. I don't know. 1920s maybe. It's
I
like
think-
the roaring.
Yeah,
Yeah, roaring 20s might have
I
been.
was definitely alive in World War II.
Okay.
I think I'm obsessed with World War II. And so those hats and that kind of time, I feel like that's where I lived last.
Why do you feel a connection to that era?
I'm fascinated with the idea of the entire world experiencing one emotion across continents. And
Unifying.
it's unifying, and maybe COVID is the last time that really happened, where there was a collective global experience where we all had the same context,
Yeah.
really.
And didn't we think it would lead to everyone getting along?
Oh,
And,
I mean, yeah.
because we were all
For sure. And
empathy would have been in abundance, but
and here
instead
we
it
are.
divided everything. Yeah.
But I think World War II was the last time before COVID where the entire world was just like, yo, this is messed up.
Yeah.
And None of us have enough. Let's share this cigarette, and let's hook up while we can, because maybe there's tomorrow, maybe there isn't. I like that spirit of, this lovely documentary I like called, I think it's Britain and the Underground, and
Hmm.
it's the culture of, when the air raids were happening on London, people would just go down to the underground and they would sleep in tube stations,
Yeah.
right? And it was a party. It really was. There's people with guitars and there's people sharing, canned meat and rolling each other cigarettes, and there's something to that. There really is something to that. Like I remember in COVID in Mumbai, um, Mumbai had a lockdown. Like
Even
a
even worse than we had here, you think?
much worse and a much tougher second wave, right?
Hmm.
And so we live on the ground floor of this apartment complex, but behind us was this couple that was Parsi, Zoroastrian, and they were, 75, 80 years old. So they're not going outside at all. And we're buying their groceries for them. And then we had a couple upstairs who was young and had a baby, right? And it was a young guy and an American girl who had a 3 month old. And there was a sense of, you know, oh shit, I got Ferrero Rocher chocolates today at the shop,
Mm-hmm.
you know, and two got to go to the Parsis and two got to go to the Americans, and because oh shit, we got these chocolates, you know,
And of course we're going to share
and
them.
of course we're going to share them
Right.
because we're all going through this thing.
Yeah.
When's the last time you had that, across the world? So I still look back at, like, we've moved since, but I look back at that experience of, here are two 80-year-olds, a scared American with a baby who's just married an Indian man and has moved to Mumbai for him, and us with an elderly bulldog, and we're all excited about these chocolates, and we're just kind of standing 6 feet away from each other with like two pieces each,
Hmm.
and that's kind of nice. There's something
It is.
romantic to that.
Was there any of the divisiveness that we saw here, or was, and obviously India's a country that has a lot of
Yeah,
societal
yeah.
problems and challenges, but did it bring people together in a way that we didn't really see here in the
It
U.S.?
it did, in terms of the two things that I saw that were very beautiful is, um, we are as politically divided as America is,
Mm-hmm.
in terms of ideological silos. And I saw people crossing silos, because in a city like Mumbai, for instance, there is such a massive income gap, between the educated and the uneducated, and between the haves and the have nots.
Right.
So it was nice to see haves of every political ideology and religion be like, oh, it's not about us anymore.
Hmm.
So we have to raise money for PPE kits. We have to raise money for all of these things, etc., etc. So that was kind of nice. And I think with food, something that's, I don't think it's unique to my culture, but it's definitely omnipresent in my culture, is if we know you, you're not going hungry. That's intolerable. And this is at every level of income in India. If you walked into a farmer's house who had nothing and who lives in a shanty shack,
Yeah.
he's sharing half his food with you. You know, so that was kind of nice. I saw a lot of people feeding each other during
Mm-hmm.
COVID. You know,
I think so. Your new book is called The Outsider,
yeah,
and there's a lot here to talk about. One of the things you go into is a real personal reflection on what might have been the hardest time in your
yeah,
career, which was when you gave what is this, now famous 6-minute
yeah,
monologue at the Kennedy Center
yeah,
talking about two
yeah,
Indias.
yeah.
I just listened to you reflecting on that country now during COVID and how much you appreciate it. And I think, you know, the fallout from that was, and that the canceling
Mm-hmm.
in India, if we call it that, was people believing that you didn't love your country.
Yeah, I mean, and not to say it with any sort of boastfulness, but canceling is a gentle word compared to what one went through.
You were called a terrorist. You
Yeah,
were,
so the context is I did a 6 minute bit at the Kennedy Center, and it was new material. I wrote it that afternoon. Perhaps the lesson is, don't use the Kennedy Center as your open mic for new material.
right.
But
Although the reception was great in the
reception
moment.
was great in the moment. We got a wedding photographer to shoot it last minute
Hmm.
and put it up. And it's one of many videos on my YouTube in that vein. But for some reason, the zeitgeist of that time and coming out of COVID and all of that stuff, and it was ended up getting, I think, collectively 35, 40 million views. I was the number one trend in the country for 2 weeks. I was on every news bulletin, and then it led to 14 police complaints.
And to set the context, I mean, you were trying to say that there are two different versions
Yeah,
of
there's a
India that are
duality
both.
to India, and we need to remember the light.
Hmm.
And
Some aspects of India are very dark.
and some aspects of India are very dark, and
Socioeconomics and treatment of women and
all of that stuff,
yeah.
right? But to remind us to steer back to what makes us great,
Hmm.
because it still exists as much as what doesn't, but it's drowned in the noise. And it just went like wildfire. We were blindsided by it. I had to turn our phone off for 4 or 5 months because of lots of threats, and there's a ton of legal processes to go through. And the long story short is, shut my phone off, wrote jokes about it, and turned that into a show. That show did the Edinburgh Fringe. It ended up doing a world tour, and it turned into a Netflix special, and that turned into an Emmy. And so what I love about my job is it's kind of alchemy.
Hmm.
It turns bullshit into golden statues. You know what I mean? Which is, it just takes time, but
Because it's material.
it's material.
But you wouldn't say. I mean, I'm not saying that in a way that's sort of
Yeah.
inauthentic.
But no other job gets to do that.
Hmm.
Like a musician gets cancelled, that's a while. An actor gets cancelled, that's a while. But a comedian, 3 months from now, you could be back up, reflecting on it, learning from it, or just making people laugh from it.
Yeah. It feels like now you've moved into another chapter and you're trying to focus your content, your comedy, like on more uplifting things than your plight and being canceled.
I think so, for sure. I didn't do a single interview about it when it happened, because I was like, I'm gonna do jokes first. I'm not crying on Oprah or the equivalent of that in India. And it was kind of done. And I don't think controversy is long term currency. It's short term currency, and it is currency. Don't get me wrong. We put a world tour on sale after it, and it's sold out in 15 minutes, right? But then the expectation is massive, and you can't chase controversy your entire life. You can't predict what's going to be controversial. If you try and reverse engineer that, it's never going to happen. So for me, I've been kind of humbled by the love I received post it, and kind of weirdly realized, oh, the audience is on the pedestal. And that's reframed my approach to stand up a little bit, where I'm like, oh, I have to do everything I can to send you home flying on a cloud. You Ubered, you got a babysitter, you bought tickets 3 months in advance. And the trick for me is to do that for you without pandering to you.
That's a hard balance.
It's a hard balance, because the perfect show kind of meanders between stuff they want to hear and stuff you want to say. And if you do a 33 country world tour, that's tough to figure out what they want to hear. So then your best bet is to just really be the joker and to dance and to be the ass in the room. But without making it easy or without making it hacky or, broad.
Yeah.
So it's a tough one. I'm work in progress.
You've mentioned a journalist who was working on a profile of you and seemed to be focusing too much on your plight and what
Yeah.
you went through with that canceling. And do I have this right? He said to you, "My audience is huge and they'll sympathize," and that seemed to really hit you. That
Yeah,
he
it
was
did.
making that kind of argument for why you should do this
Yeah.
interview. What? How did you react, and what was your response to him?
Well, let me set up context.
Yeah,
Right? We
please.
were, it was a good piece, and the American agents and the American publicists were like, "Oh my God, it's a profile in the blah blah blah," right? And
Veer's gone through hell through this
yeah,
thing, and like, let's talk
so
about.
so we're gold, right?
Yeah.
And we did the first round of interviews, and it was all right. And then a couple of interviews in, they were like, "Do you think you'll get arrested again when the special comes out? Can we be there on the day the special comes out to see what
Like to
happens?"
cover your arrest?
Yeah,
Like
and I was like, I don't think I will be. I think I've dealt with most of this stuff already. Can we talk to your lawyer? Sure. Spoke to my lawyer, and my lawyer called me back, and she's like, he really wants like juice. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Can I talk to the policeman? Sure. And then at some point I was like, the I think first I was like, does he not believe me? In which case, let him talk to everybody because this has been on the news for a month.
Mm-hmm.
So it's pretty well documented in that sense. Sometimes comedians will say things to get on the news. I'm trying to get off the news here. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's a different journey. But then at some point he said that we got into a squabble where he was like, I'm just trying to understand, your democracy vis-a-vis ours. And I'm defensive, So I was like, with due respect, your president just refused to accept the results of an election, and there was a riot at the Capitol. So
Oh, you were teaching him that American democracy might not be
might not,
perfect. Yeah.
or that your democracy doesn't exist vis-a-vis mine, and mine doesn't exist vis-a-vis yours. They just kind of exist, right? And then he said, our audience is huge, and I think they're going to really sympathize with this story. And I said, but mine will empathize, and it's much smaller. And I don't think sympathy is currency either. There's a line in my special where I say sympathy is a porn video that you watch for your pleasure, but empathy is an orgy. We get screwed together. you know, um, so it feels like you're writing this so that your readers can feel better about where they live, and I'm not interested in being some sort of poster boy for Eastern oppression.
Yeah.
And I pulled out of the piece very respectfully. And a lot of people in time didn't understand why I did it, but I kind of stand by it.
What message do you want us to hear from you about empathy?
I've said this before, but here's what I think freedom of speech is. We're on a train together, right? And some dude has his junk out on the train,
Okay.
right?
Got that image.
Maybe we can't do anything about the junk, but we can make eye contact and laugh about it together because we both have to look at his junk, and that's empathy. You're on a New York City subway,
Yeah.
and there's some dude furiously pleasuring himself in the corner of the cart, and you and I look at each other and we're like,
Yeah. This is not cool.
this is not cool, or this is nuts.
Right.
That's empathy. You know what I mean?
We're sharing a moment, an
We're
experience.
sharing a moment which is messed up and wrong. There's no arguing that. But my God, can we laugh about it in a second?
Yeah.
You know?
I think I hear what you're saying, like particularly about the journalist trying to get you to be the poster boy for oppression and then feeling good about ourselves here. What could have happened there is like two people talking about their own experiences in different democracies and sort of where there's overlap and shared reflection.
And
which
also,
is-
I think I also must take onus of being defensive on the gaze on my culture. You have to understand I come from a background where, rightly or wrongly, the portrayal of my culture can sometimes be skewed in one of two directions. It's either ultra privileged. So, my God, look at the Indians who are Harvard CEOs, heads of hospitals, etc., etc., or it's Slumdog Millionaire.
It's binary. There's no in between.
But India lives in the middle of those two things, and I don't see that on represented very well. I don't see a 28-year-old Indian boy who smokes a joint and has a girlfriend and maybe doesn't know what he wants to do with his life. And
Might not be that rich, might not be
might
that
not
poor.
be that rich, might not be that poor. He's
Yeah.
figuring it out. Maybe just bought a motorcycle. Man, I'd love to see that guy. Represented a little bit because we have the youngest population in the world. We have the largest working population under 35 on the planet. We have the largest smartphone audience in the world. Like, where's that?
Yeah, we should understand the culture.
Yeah.
And
So if you're going to write the big story about India, I'm going to be all right. Write about that guy.
So your book is called The Outsider,
Yeah.
and you've spoken a lot in your comedy and elsewhere about growing up in Nigeria
Yeah,
and coming to the United States and being in India and literally feeling like an outsider, sort of wherever you are. Do you still feel that way today in 2025?
Very much so.
Okay.
And now I'm just kind of owning it, because I'm 46. I don't know if it goes away. or not. I have three things that make me feel like home, which is Shivani, who's my wife, and my two dogs. And last night I was at the Lincoln Center, and it's a weird experiment, right? Because you're sitting in a room which has 50% Indians, and then 50% the tastemakers, quote unquote, of New York,
Mm-hmm.
right? So they just saw the opening of Ragtime at the Lincoln Center, and so you've got 25-year-old college kids at 20-year-old college kids at NYU sitting next to a 60-year-old white lady, and I'm going to tell Indians about studying in Montgomery, Alabama, you know, and I'm going to tell Americans about my first time on a Bollywood set. And it's a weird alien experience for both of those people. And
That they're hearing this from you,
yeah,
these
because you could
reflections.
have gone to a show that spoke to everything that you knew.
Mm-hmm.
And here you are in the room with a complete stranger telling you this random story of this global upbringing. And at some level, you just kind of have to go, all right, that is my story. And I need to kind of share it loud.
Does the I mean, this our show is about obsession, and I wonder as I was reading your book is this outsider identity, does it become an obsession at some point that you kind of feel in every aspect of your life,
Yeah,
for better or worse?
yeah, it makes you suspicious of a bubble.
Hmm.
You know what I mean? So I'll do a movie a year, or maybe sometimes two acting projects a year, and you know, the minute I feel like I'm hanging out with actors too much, and I've had more than three conversations about protein shakes, I'm like, I need to get out of here and go to a stand-up comedy club.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So what that means is you will never fully make friends in Bollywood or Hollywood because you're not really one of them. And you could do three acting projects a year and spend 9 months of your life doing that.
Hmm.
But you're like, no, no, I'm I'm here, but I'm also that guy.
But does that become a self-fulfilling prophecy sometimes where you end up not being able to feel a sense of community,
Perhaps,
like you close yourself off to that?
but it serves your material
Hmm. In what way?
in that I think the more on the inside you are, the less you get to write about a thing. Have you ever watch a comic and he's like, so I was in Boise, Idaho last week, and a woman said this.
Yeah.
And then he's probably like saying that in Chicago, and then he's like, so I was in Chicago last week, and blah, 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 and airlines and gas stations. And you're like, oh, he's so in it that life isn't happening to him or her. And you need to stop doing this for a year and go away and pack a bag and go see the world and come back with something new
Hmm.
and get
So to
off
keep your material fresh,
yeah,
being constantly on the move and
yeah,
not
to
being.
get off the hamster wheel as such.
Hmm.
So I think the more you enter a bubble, your material suffers at some level. You got to have arm's length a little bit.
You've talked about the relationship between you and your audience.
Hmm.
Who gets more out of your comedy, you or the audience?
That's an interesting question. I would hope it is my audience. My approach is to have them on the pedestal. And there's a line in my special where I say, if I could put everybody up on stage, I think you'd understand why people like stand up. Nobody's watching the comedian, they're listening to the audience. They're listening to laughter leave their body.
Hmm.
Because joy, when not protected, but joy projected, is hope, it's strength.
So you're creating the joy in the room, but we're feeling it from other people in the
I don't even
audience.
think I'm creating it. I don't even think I have anything to do with it. I'm just kind of saying words and you tell the truth, the audience. And you're listening to the 1,000 people around you as much as that's doing more for you than I am for you. You know, I'm at best a conductor of what is a beautiful orchestra.
Huh. And what is the power of that laughter, do you think? That joy?
And it's everything. I think it's one of two or three unfakeable human responses. You know, it is a very honest human response. Um, it tells the truth. I really think laughter is truth. You know, if I was to uh, if I was to say, hey man, I think Eric Adams had a real shot at mayor. You know what I mean? On the street, some people would laugh, right? And I just said something, but they told the truth.
Hmm. The reaction was the
Was
true
the true
meaning of the
thing.
moment.
You know, like if I come out and I'm like, uh, Zoran Mamdani, he's not controversial at all, huh? And somebody laughs. Um, they're telling the truth.
Hmm.
I'm not telling the truth.
I love that. I want to ask you about Bollywood
Mm-hmm.
because that's part of your life and the book. Interestingly, you told us in your book that Bollywood is not a term that a
We
lot
don't
of
like
people
it.
in India like.
No.
Should I not be using the term Bollywood?
Yeah, you can say the Indian film industry. That's
That's
it's
better.
easier
Even though we
because
use Hollywood here for the film industry,
I know, but
it's
it feels like we are derivative of Hollywood, and with all due respect, we are triple the size of Hollywood. You know what I mean? We
yeah.
release three times the movies on a weekend than Hollywood does. It's the equivalent of calling Hollywood Marvel Town. You know what I
Oh,
mean?
that's bad. No, we can't do that.
Right. So
It cheapens. I mean, no
yeah,
offense to Marvel, I'm a big fan,
yeah,
but like
it
it
reduces
kind
it.
of
Yeah,
reduces it.
yeah.
Oh, interesting. Okay, so I should be careful. Use Indian film
I mean,
industry.
we'll love you either way. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But yeah, I would like to see that term used less and less.
Back to fashion because
Hmm.
we started with hats. It sounds like style and fashion absolutely part of the culture, like in a way that I mean, we all know it from seeing videos and seeing
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
paparazzi, but like you can't be a part of Bollywood and be in movies like you were without constantly thinking about what you look like.
Agree. But then you can get to a point where you kind of do it on your own terms and you have your own relationship with it. Like and by the way, I in no means want to oversell my presence in the film industry. I'm
I mean, you
middling
made
at.
Mumbai Salsa. I mean,
Yeah, there you
that's
go.
yeah. I mean, that
But
movie
so
was.
I've been in 14 movies, which means I've been in two good movies, right? But I'm middling at best, right? So it's not like you're talking to a movie star or anything like that. I'm an actor, right? But I got to a point where I kind of said, okay, I'm no longer working, for instance, with new designers, right? So I went to the Emmys and I just put a post out on Instagram and said, hey, if there's a fashion student who wants to design my red carpet look for the Emmys,
Mm-hmm.
come on. I'll pay you, we'll buy it, and you'll get the exposure that you need.
What a
And
great thing.
keep in mind, there are 40,000 designers at the top level who, for the Emmy Awards, would kill it for free.
But you wanted to give someone else a chance.
Yeah, because I believe in underdog energy. I'm
Mm-hmm.
5'8.5" from a small town, and this is insane.
We're the
This
same height. I want to embrace that. Like
There you
you,
go.
5'8" and a
Right.
half. Can I underdog energy?
There
That's
you
what
go.
I'm going for.
So I think if you stand with underdog energy with an outfit that combines that, I think it compounds that underdog energy.
Yeah.
You know. So right now, everybody that works with me on a movie knows. Oh, he knows nothing about fashion, and he couldn't care less. So we kind of have to have his back a little bit. So I just co-directed my first movie, and I'm the lead in it, and it's a spy. You know what I mean? So I'm I had to build up a little bit, and I had like two love songs and all of that stuff. And you would just see uh, our head of costumes be like, I have to get this right, just because his fashion sucks at such a high level. I want him to be in one movie or appearance where people are like, he looks good, good. And she kind of had my back, so it was nice to hand it off to her and
That's
like
great.
and be like, I have no idea. I will wear what you tell me, and if this screws up, it's your fault completely. But yeah.
All right, I'm going to be right back with Veer Das, and we're going to do a little lightning round of other obsessions when we come back. All right, we're back with David Green is Obsessed. I am in a studio in New York City with Veer Das, whose new memoir is called The Outsider. We talked about your obsession with hats. We were talking a little bit a minute ago about Bollywood. Sunglasses are another obsession of yours, I think, or at least you carry sunglasses around
I
with you
I only wear Ray-Bans.
only.
Yeah.
Okay,
So I don't buy expensive sunglasses because I
gotcha.
lose them in every hotel I've ever been in. So Ray-Ban Wayfarers black. That's it.
But I saw you talking about once, like putting sunglasses on in the airport to try and
Oh,
act like a.
that's like
Is that a
an
shtick?
early star move where you know.
Early star
Yeah,
move.
like
Okay.
I think when you start doing movies, you're allowed to lose yourself and become a douchebag for 3 years, and then you gotta
3 years is the limit.
yeah,
That's the.
right. So you get to have like 2 cell phones and wear sunglasses in an airport and have 5 assistants for no reason.
Uh-huh.
So definitely did that.
Don't tell the assistant.
Yeah, and
that.
now I have one cell phone and I travel alone.
Okay.
Right, but you get to do that a little bit. But I guarantee you, half the people who wear sunglasses in airports are watching people watch them. You know?
Interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah. I I don't know, the douchebag factor with sunglasses indoors. It's I like how I look in sunglasses,
Yeah.
and so I kind of want to do that. I get, but it I don't know.
Well,
I
couldn't
don't
you do
feel a
like
license to.
the sort of
Yeah,
clear,
like semi
yeah,
sunglass thing.
yeah.
Yeah.
But that's kind of porno-ish a little bit.
It feels that way. Yeah.
Right?
Thank you for pointing that out. Yeah. It feels a little douchebaggy.
Yeah.
Okay, so I saw you did a GQ video about the things that you carry with you everywhere you
Yeah.
go. That feels a little obsessive to me, not in a bad way.
Yeah.
But sunglasses, hat that you like, picture of your
Of
dog.
my late dog,
May your dog rest in
Watson.
peace.
Uh, Yeah, and a Bluetooth speaker
Bluetooth speaker.
that I have like one Bose Bluetooth speaker which helps me sleep all over the world because it sounds the same no matter which city I'm in.
Huh. You need that speaker. Like you can't plug your phone with the sound that you like into a hotel
No,
Bluetooth.
no, I need that
That
at the
very
right volume with the
speaker.
same playlist to play through the night,
Okay.
so then I can sleep.
What are you playing? Is it like white noise?
It's Apple Music sleep playlist.
Sleep play. Apple Music makes a playlist to just sleep through.
It's just and it's kind of like ambient sounds. Hang on, it's just
I use an app like picking brown noise or green noise or
hold on.
white noise.
Should be wait, where's sleep? I should have downloaded it. It's literally just this.
Oh, that's lovely.
Right?
That's everything. Yeah.
Right? So just it's that for
Yeah, that's beautiful
for
for
7
the whole
hours.
night.
Yeah.
Okay, I want that. You have a lozenge situation to help you with your voice when you're doing lots of comedy?
These are I don't even these guys should pay me some money at some point. I
It
feel.
feels that you're about.
It's called Vocal Zone, and these are kind of sugar-free licorice lozenges, and you pop one in the corner of your mouth, and it lasts about an hour
Okay, you just like before a show.
before show.
Okay.
And before this podcast, I did one as well.
You did one.
Yeah, and this kind of keeps you happy and
It opens it up and
yeah, it opens it up. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
You have a spray that you carry around?
Yeah, it's called Entertainer's Secret, and it's like a throat spray that you put on.
Entertainer's Secret.
Yeah.
Okay.
And you get it on Amazon. So.
How have I been on the radio for like 20 years of my life and have never done these things? I would do like hot water, lemon,
Yeah, sure.
maybe a tiny
Lemons-
bit of bourbon, depending on if it was
Lemon's
covering
not
any
great,
important
by the way.
stories.
It's like because that causes like acidity, and so you shouldn't be doing lemon. Just do honey, or just do hot water.
No lemon.
No lemon.
That's a lesson.
I mean, who knows? Like, this doesn't this change every? Remember we were all told to drink milk as kids, and now milk is death. Apparently,
Yeah.
I don't know.
Oat milk is now the healthy obsession.
I remember in 3 years of college, I don't think I drank water once.
That's not healthy. That's
but-
not good.
But
Were you hydrating in other ways?
I don't know. But I don't. Do we need to hydrate as much as we hydrate?
I mean, not drinking water for 3 years sounds problematic.
Yeah, but do we now each need to be drinking like 5 liters of water a day? This feels
Probably not.
incredibly excessive.
Yeah, and I also don't have time to
Yeah.
have to need a bathroom every 5 minutes. All right, what else is in your travel bag?
I have shorts and sneakers so I can work out. I have I usually fly. It's gonna sound so privileged, but okay. Anyway, I fly Emirates because that's a nice airline to get to the US on.
Yeah, I mean,
And-
it's not like you're flying your own plane.
Yeah.
I mean, if you were about to tell me like
And
I'm a
they-
pilot and I like fly my own plane around
And
the
they
world.
make the perfect size notebooks on Emirates.
Okay,
So I will steal those every time I'm on those flights.
the perfect like like not too small, not too big.
Yeah, like
just
the like moleskin notebooks,
Yeah, of
right?
course.
And for stand-up comedians, those are life, right?
Yeah.
And Emirates just makes the perfect size one. So if I'm ever on a plane, I'm like, hey, do you have any extras? And they typically do.
They see you get on a flight now and they're like, Veer, we got your
Yeah.
notebooks.
So I'll get like 5 notebooks from the crew. And
Nice.
so I always have an Emirates notebook in my bag for some
Nice.
reason. So yeah.
Okay, little lightning round. What is an obsession that you have never told anyone but your partner about until right now, sitting with me?
I I'm into Lego recently.
Lego,
Yeah.
like make it like
Yeah.
building Lego
In my
stuff.
mid 40s.
Okay,
Never touched Lego my entire life.
and
And
now you have started.
then now I've started. My therapist was like, you need something to do to shut your brain off.
And
Um,
Legos is the thing.
and Lego is minimal focus. It's micro focus.
Wow.
And so just do that.
What do you build?
I'm currently building the Notre Dame Cathedral. I started small.
Wait, do you buy that set? You buy a
Yeah.
Notre Dame
Yeah,
Lego
yeah,
kit?
and it's like 1,000 different bags, which are each a
Jesus
piece of Notre Dame, and then, so yeah, I'm
How's it
building-
going so far?
I think I have
What
the porch.
stage are you on?
I have the porch done. So,
Yeah.
so, yeah.
That's great. Okay, what's an obsession that scares you?
I'm afraid to lose touch with the pulse of my country because I've traveled too much.
Wow, that's deep. See, we were talking about this before we got in the studio.
Yeah.
You comics are often, we think that doing an interview with you, we're going to be laughing the whole time, but you get really thoughtful. And
Well, I mean, think about the condition, right? My identity is built on being for India from the world. From India for the world, forgive me.
right.
But then you travel the world for 8 months. So then you haven't spent 8 months in India.
Yeah.
So then you come back home after 8 months and it's like, oh, all the restaurants I love have closed down and all these new political things have happened, etc., etc. So I'm obsessive about checking in with India and keeping it in my veins.
It's so interesting to hear you say that after we talked about being the outsider and like how that identity pushes you away from a bubble. And
Yeah.
it sounds like India is a bubble that you want to make sure you
But
continue to be in enough.
I've not been accepted enough in that bubble. I hope to. I keep saying I've written 5 shows about my country, and I'm hoping I'll write that one show where they're like, all right, you're Indian enough. But the thing is, what's beautiful about my country as well is it's the most diverse place on earth. It's just a bunch of other places joined together. So there'll never be one version, but you could spend a lifetime trying to capture every other place, which has weirdly been the arc of at least my artistic obsession.
All right, last question. What is one thing you do obsessively whenever you come to New York City?
When I come to New York City, I obsessively go to public libraries and will be there. You'll find me there as soon as it opens and just writing. I love, books and just kind of that energy. I love a public library. So that's where I go.
Well, I don't want to keep you from going to a public library. Veer Das, his new memoir is called The Outsider. Thanks so much for spending time.
This was fun. Thank you, man.
Really fun. Really appreciate it.